The winning blueprint presents.
While you're here, go ahead and sub up.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Lou, host of the football program in the Lab Room. Thank you for joining me. Here, simply talking football. Had a chance to watch a couple of preseason games over the weekend and jotted some notes down while I was watching some of the games. And I'm here to share some of my opinions on what I saw. And today I'm talking about the Baltimore Ravens as they took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Super Bowl champions traveled to Raymond James Stadium to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'm not going to be very long-winded. I'm going to get right to the point. And so let's talk about what the Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens were able to accomplish in their first preseason game of 2013. So we get to the board, and I thought Chris Canty came out and was impressive on that opening possession. I mean, he really dominated right out the gates. First play, he's in the backfield, stopping Buccaneers running back Doug Martin from getting anywhere, really helping stop him for a tackle for loss in the backfield. Then he gets pressure on third down and gets a sack of Josh Freeman. And so I thought he was just absolutely disruptive and really showing what he could be for this Ravens team in 2013. And I didn't think he would make that big of a difference, honestly. I thought he'd be solid against the run, but he showed that he could get a little bit of pressure. He definitely showed he can help in the run game. And so we'll talk about this Ravens defense extensively a little bit later on, but that's a little taste, a little teaser there. Chris Canty stepping up on that defensive front. Look at Joe Flacco throwing an interception on the first possession. And look, let this segue me to the next part of what I want to talk about. And I think this is a perfect segue, Flacco throwing that interception on the opening possession. I'm not sold on the Ravens receiver position. I'm not. Torrey Smith, to me, isn't a number one. That's just my honest opinion. Never went over 1,000 yards. He has never been the guy. Can he be the guy? Sure he can. But I'm not sure that he's an elite number one, even if he is a number one. And I'm not sure that he is a number one in the first place. I think he's a number two. I think he would have been one of the better number twos in the league. And I thought he was in a perfect slot where he was. Now you're asking him to be something that I don't think that he is. But we'll see. I could be wrong. But I know this. After him, what do you have? I don't think you have a lot. I'm not sold on Deontay Thompson. He dropped the football in this game. Tandon Doss has been inconsistent throughout his whole career. I still don't know what's going on with the Miami Hurricane you drafted last year. And so who knows what the Ravens are getting out of these guys. There's a lot of stuff there. But you got to sift through that stuff and find out which one of these guys, if any, are worth putting on the field and can help you in 2013. I'm just not sure if any of these guys can be difference makers on this football team. And what hurts this receiving core even more is the fact that your tight ends are banged up. No Dennis Pitta, who I thought was turning into a really, really good pass catching tight end in this league. He's gone for the season. His career could be over. Who knows? I mean, we're talking about a hip. Anytime we start talking about hips, you really get into dangerous territory there. And then we're talking about Ed Dixon and a torn hamstring, a partially torn hamstring. He'll be back, but man, that's some dangerous stuff we're talking about there as well. So these Ravens are hurting. I saw Basante Shanko out there, and I mean, he's not bad, but look, he was on the streets for a reason. And so Ravens have some questions to answer on the offensive end. And not saying that that pick was any of their fault. That was a bad decision on the part of Joe Flacco to throw that football out to the hash, out on that outer hash, and late. If you're late and you're outside, chances are you're picked off, and that's exactly what happened as Gore picked him off for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Look at this Ravens defense. To me, this is a no-doubter. If healthy, huge if healthy, this Ravens defense not might be, will be immensely better. You just look at this thing top to bottom. And I know everybody wants to talk about all the pieces they lost. How about we start talking about the pieces they gained in this offseason? They got younger. They got better in a lot of positions. Look, yeah, you lose Paul Kruger. Yeah, you lose Donnell L.A.B, but you gain Elvis Dumervil. And look, Daryl Smith isn't too shabby either. You get Arthur Brown in the draft and Brandon Williams at defensive tackle. We don't know what he's going to be, but you're thinking this guy's going to show up and show out. You get Canty on that defensive line as well as Marcus Spears. You go to the secondary, yeah, you lose Ed Reed, definitely. And sure, you lost Ray Lewis, but I thought Ray Lewis, his career has already apex, was definitely at its lowest point. And he was done. He couldn't play at a high level anymore. And that was evident. And so you weren't losing a lot there in losing Ray Lewis. You were losing an emotional leader, definitely. You can't replace that. But I'm talking about production on the field. I think you got guys that can perform at a higher level than Ray Lewis could at that point of his career. And then you look at Ed Reed, sure. Yeah, you lost Ed Reed. You lost Bernard Pollard. You lost both of your safeties that were starters from a season ago. But look, I'm not saying that Michael Huff is going to come in and be all world, but he's going to come in and be solid. I'm not saying that Matt Elam is going to come in and change the game like Ed Reed did, but he's going to be solid, I think. And I think this Ravens football team, sure, you lost Kerry Williams. I think you're going to be fine. Jimmy Smith can step in, and I think he's ready to assume that role as a starter. I think you'll be okay. Getting Ladarius Webb back, getting Terrell Suggs healthy back, I think this defense is going to be really good. And so if they can find a way to get by on offense, that's the problem for me. Offensively is what scares me. If they can find a way to hold teams down defensively, they'll do enough offense. But if this defense isn't holding teams down, isn't creating turnovers and giving this offense the football in scoring position, I think it's going to be rough for this Ravens offense to honestly do, because I don't know how much you can rely on Ray Rice to just get it done. Yes, Ray Rice is a beast, but you got to be able to pass the ball in this league. It's a passing league now. You got to be able to pass. And I'm not sure if the Ravens are going to be able to do that consistently, week in, week out, with what they have on their roster. I'm not sure. Make a believer out of it. Special teams is always going to be good. No, not good, great under John Harbaugh. We know his past track record and what he was before he got this head coaching job. He was a special teams guru in this league. That's how he got this job. And so it was evident in this game against Tampa Bay, the recovered fumble on the punt, the block punt in the end zone for a touchdown. The Ravens are going to be good on special teams. And they always are, and they will continue to be as long as John Harbaugh is the head coach in Baltimore. Look at Tyrod Taylor, and I thought he staked his claim as the backup quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens. And look, I thought he needed to do that. After they went out and got Khalid Haney in free agency, I thought that was their way of saying, hey, we're going to push you. And you're not guaranteed to be the backup in Baltimore this year. You want the backup job? Go out and seize it. And I thought this was a huge step in that direction. I think he actually kind of solidified, hey, I'm here to stay. I'm not going anywhere. I want my opportunity. And if Joe were to go down, I'll be the man that steps in, and maybe I'll get a chance to show what I can do on another football team down the road. But right now, I'm here to stay in Baltimore. And so I think he really staked his claim as the backup quarterback with the performance that he had in the second half of this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Look at Bernard Pierce, injured on a TV run, and Ravens fans everywhere were holding their collective breath for a second when this happened, because this was a scary situation, scary moment, a guy that you expect a lot out of in 2013, especially with all the question marks in the passing game. This running game needs to be on point, and this is a guy that can help you alongside Ray Rice. And when he went down on that touchdown run, you had to feel a little nervous. You saw him running and limping off. All you could really say to yourself is, please don't let it be an ACL. Please don't let it be. Because we've seen guys get up and walk off the field, even jog off the field. And next day you find out, torn ACL, done for the season. And the way he got hit, that's how you get hit when you tear your ACL. And so I was a little nervous, but it was very comforting to find out that there's no structural damage. He's going to be fine. It's a day-to-day injury. The Ravens definitely dodged a well-needed bullet, because after the injuries that you've already suffered, after losing a guy like Anquan Bolden in free agency, or letting him walk away, or trading him, I should say. Hey, you couldn't afford to lose a guy like Bernard Pierce. Not the way this offense is going to have to rely on the run game and guys catching it out of the backfield like Bernard Pierce and Ray Rice are going to have to do to help out this lackluster receiving corps. No way you could lose a guy like Bernard Pierce. Good to find out that he's not going to be gone for an extended period of time. And so that's what I took from this opening preseason matchup for the Baltimore Ravens.
Like the content? Want more? Sub up.